Welcome to Tooltech Geek. Today I want to take a look at this small multi-tool. It's called the Guidesman Relay and I got it at a store. It's a Menards store. Guidesman is a store brand of Menards, and this was $8 with the rebate, or about $9 without the rebate. In any case, it was pretty inexpensive and it has an interesting look, so I wanted to get one and take a bit of a look, see what it has to offer. My expectations are low because we're talking about a budget multi-tool, but sometimes we get pleasantly surprised with these type of tools. So it comes in a nice packaging and it has a little holster. Here are the functions, 8 functions listed. The material is 420 stainless steel, so nothing very impressive. However, the handle has this anodized aluminum, which is very easy to see. They had 2 colors in the store. They had this kind of lime green and a yellow. So I think they will work. This will work to see it in, let's say, if it's a bit dark or such, it could be easy to spot it. And the holster looks like it has a sort of nylon pouch. So a nylon pouch with a snap here, and a thing to put on the belt. And it can also go sideways. So very small, but it's a good finish with the logo and the snap. I don't know if snap is better than Velcro. Leatherman uses this type, so it's kind of good finish for how inexpensive it is. And the machining of these handles looks pretty good. So we got the pliers, they're spring loaded, and they have a bit of a wire cutter. Can do some tests pretty soon. And let's see, this folds to a pretty small size. Here I have a Leatherman skeletool for comparison, because it has these very light-weighted handles with lots of holes, so it kind of reminded me a little bit of the skeletool, and it has a bit of this curvature as well as a very minimalist tool set. So I brought it for comparison. This is much smaller. I cannot tell you the weight, but it doesn't feel super hefty in my hand. So it sounds like something that will be handy to carry. I can EDC. Let's see, what are the tools? There's not too many of them. One is a blade. It has a frame lock, which works. And this has a button here that you can open it with one hand, so that's pretty convenient. The blade is partially serrated and pretty short. If we compare it to the skeletool, it's somewhat smaller, a little shorter, and different shape too. So let's see, what else do we have? Here there is a carabiner. Carabiner is foldable. This is a bit unique. I haven't seen it before. So a lot of these tools inspired by the skeletal, they have this kind of carabiner type of thing, but it's fixed, and they use it as a bottle opener. However, this one is foldable, which I think is kind of neat. This makes it a little bit more compact. Can this be used as a bottle opener? I don't know. It doesn't say. Well, it has actually a bottle opener. So let's see in the other tools. So this one would be a flathead screwdriver and bottle opener. This is a very tiny tool. So it's kind of a micro screwdriver, I guess, for some purposes. Will work. So it's very, very small, smaller than I expected. Sometimes when you look at pictures, you don't get an idea if something is big or small. Let's compare it with the screwdriver of the Leatherman. So this goes here. So this is a pretty, it has two sizes, but they are pretty big. This is much more tiny. And it has a bottle opener. So let's see what else do we have. This is a two-dimensional Phillips. It's also relatively small, but maybe good enough for some applications. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this particular screwdriver. It does not look tremendously well defined. So very minimalistic, same as these skeletool clones are. The main functions, I think the blade would be useful, and it locks. It has a bit of thickness here and it gets pointy. The pliers are not tremendously big. Let's compare it. They're smaller. The length is also a little bit shorter, skeletool, so it's kind of smaller size overall. I like the look and the finish. It's relatively lightweight. This will be easy to carry around. Carabiner is kind of interesting shape. It even has this kind of circle there that I don't know if it's decorative or fills any sort of purpose. Hard to tell. So I didn't see online reviews of the Guidesman Relay, so I wanted to give you a bit of a look. Interestingly, the thickness is uneven, so one of the sides without the blade, is thinner than the side with the blade. So that's kind of interesting. And this spacer here is made of plastic. So I wonder if one could remove this whole thing and just make it into an even smaller tool. Let's suppose you don't want your blade for reasons of being in UK or similar. The pivots will be the wrong size, so you would have to replace these pivots for these ones. So it will be a major modification. And maybe there's other obstacles to do that, but it's pretty compact. in terms of quality, I think looking at the Philips doesn't give me tremendous confidence in the materials, but on the other hand, it's a minimalist tool and it's very cheap. So, and it has a blade and pliers, so I could consider this as an EDC and give it a bit of a trial. So yeah, overall I kind of like it. I think I'm gonna use it a little bit and see if I have any other further comments. Another thing about Menards and Guidesman, under this same brand they have a sort of wave clone which is pretty much similar to some that are in Amazon, so I didn't buy it. I took a bit of a video of it, and I think this is an interesting trend that we're starting to see the wave clones in stores instead of just online in Amazon or AliExpress. So for that reason, I am kind of excited to start seeing that. You could go to a store and buy a Leatherman wave clone. Now we saw that Harbor Freight has this Gordon brand, and there's now a Guidesman brand. Home Depot is selling online the Vivor wave clones, which I don't know if they are selling in stores already, but at least Menards and Harbor Freight, there's just 2 stores where you can buy a Leatherman wave clone. The Harbor Freight is pretty much an exact clone. The one in Menards, it's Guidesman, it's more of these standard clones that we've seen in Amazon or in AliExpress. But still, I think there's a value in the fact that you can go to a store and just quickly get one of those instead of having to ship it and such. The price was in the $20-something range for their wave type clone, so it is probably an okay price. And this for $8, I think it's also pretty competitive, because if you try to buy this even in Amazon, if they have a similar one like an Amazon Basics, I don't think it can get much lower than that. So if you want a really tiny multi-tool and don't have much expectations for materials, I think this is something to think about. All right, thank you for watching.